It is my honor and privilege to introduce Thornwell's 10th president and CEO, Reverend Myron Wilkins, and his amazing wife, Anna. Myron came to Thornwell from Greensboro, North Carolina, where he served as the executive director of the Greensboro Urban Ministry. The ministry served adults, families, and children who were experiencing poverty, homelessness, and hunger. Myron's entire career has been seeking ways to help others wherever they find themselves in life. He began his social services career in the trenches as a caseworker and managed other family welfare and outreach nonprofits before finding his way home to Thornwell. He and his wife Anna are also very proud parents and grandparents. All of us at Thornwell are extremely thankful that God called them here to this ministry that we are so passionate about and we call our own. Reverend Wilkins.
Thank you. That was a great introduction. I was looking around to see maybe there was somebody else that should be coming up. But thank you so much, Peggy. It is so great to see all of you here. Certainly all the guests and some of our city and local dignitaries, and certainly the Cornelson family. I was speaking briefly with Ann as she came up today, and one of the opportunities when you come someplace new, you're getting to learn and know people. And so opportunities like this where you have to maybe have remarks, it forces you to kind of look and to get to know folks. And I can tell you, as I was reading about the Cornelson family and reading about George and Ann, and I was reading about George's life and the things that he did and invested. Man, I was feeling like when you're reading a novel and you're getting to know the characters, and I was feeling like, wow, I feel like I know him. And I'm a real believer that those who know Jesus and serve well, when we're finishing this life, we can have a blessed life now, but we can have bliss and a reward in a place greater than this. And I was persuaded just from looking at that George is seated there in the heavenlies, and he's here today kind of looking. And he's now one of the folks that are on the top of my list when I get to heaven that I want to say, hello, Jesus, hello, all you guys. But anybody seen George? I want to talk to this guy, man. He's had an amazing life. But we're just so thankful, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here. The Rewrite program, one of the things as I was coming new to Greensboro, or to Chattanooga from Greensboro, to Clinton from Greensboro, and understanding and studying Thornwell, was I read online about this Rewrite program, and I was reading some of the results that they were getting. I said, come on. You know, kids who are struggling reading, becoming proficient, kids moving up 2 grade levels through this program. Yeah. So it almost sounded like a snake oil commercial. Because I know in my experience, when kids get behind in reading, the challenges of learning. But this program, as more I look into it, has proven to transform the lives of kids, and it's vital. Here in Lawrence County alone, there's scores of children who are so far behind in reading. And any of us know, if you think about your own life, what difference would it have made in your life if you could not be proficient in reading and not being able to master that basic life skill? It is fundamental, not just for children to succeed in school, but for adults to succeed in life. So this program is incredible. It is vital. It is needed. And I am just so grateful that the Cornelson family saw and agreed that this is something important for this community. As I look through the life and the legacy of George Cornelson, man, he was involved with a lot of things. He served on the board here at Thornwell. He was active with Presbyterian College. the litany of organizations that he served on boards, and the areas where he and Ann gave generously and sacrificially to help this community is a laundry list of very worthy endeavors. And I've been in this business long enough to know that I am grateful for every person who gives to this cause. There's a lot of great causes to give to. So it does not go lightly to us that Ann and George and the family have sought to be generous towards Thornwell in the Read Write program to join with us in this very, very important endeavor. I had so many things to say, but I want to make sure I say this. One thing he didn't mention is that I used to be a pastor, and I was used to preaching every Sunday. So you put me in front of a microphone, I might go a while, and if I go too long, just pass an offering plate. I usually sit down when the offering starts. But one of the things that impressed me, and I want to make sure that I hit this before I sit down, is there's a quote that I heard one time about legacy. It says, "The legacy I will leave one day is the life I live today." The legacy I will leave one day is the life that I live today. And as I read through the life and legacy of George Cornelson, while it was intentional, now I'm sure he didn't sit around every day and say, how can I make a legacy? How can I make a legacy? But when you look at the footsteps of his life, the life that he lived exemplifies and lives with us now in the legacy that he leaves. And it's not just the legacy of the finances to support the Read Write program. George's legacy will live on every day. Every child who comes into this program struggling to read, living in fear that the teacher might call their name in class, and people will snicker because they can't read what's on the page. As that child becomes proficient and we look at the success of that child, in that child, we will also see the legacy of George Cornelson. Children who grow up and are able to go to college and be successful at that level when they were in the second and third grade, they could not read, but now they're able to not only read, but to thrive in an academic environment or in a vocational environment or in a career environment. That young man, that young woman will be a vision of the legacy of George Cornelson. And so I'm hopeful that one day, it's great in this life when people throw parties for us while we're living and pat us on the back and say, "Attaboy." But the true test of all of our lives will be, what will they say about us after this life is over? And I'm thankful for the gift of George Cornelson, the financial gift of he and Ann. But really, I'm also so grateful to be able to look at a life well invested and see that legacy. And perhaps even hope that one day when George and I may be sitting together watching you guys down here, that we both might be able to look at each other and say, well done. But to George, we say well done. To Ann, we say thank you. To the family, we thank you for your historical and current commitment. And we thank you, I thank you for the children and the families that will be forever transformed because of the Read Write program and your investment. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Norman Dover, who is our Vice President of Educational Services. He will come and have some remarks, and you'll have a better chance to look at somebody that's handsomer than I am. Okay.
After that comment, now I'm looking for somebody else who's coming up to the podium. And y'all laughed. See? So you confirmed my thoughts. Thank you, Myron. Buddy, I need to take you anytime we can try to promote
Took
this.
the script.
Oh, well, I got mine. I got mine. You know, when he made that snake oil comment, it reminds me when I first met Dr. D. Tadlock. That goes back to 2015. I don't know if you remember that or not. In fact, Dr. Tadlock, could you just stand so people can, we're talking about you, so Dr. Tadlock is here with us. She's from Washington State. She chose to come all the way to South Carolina for the National School Dropout Prevention Conference. And so she was presenting at that conference. And I was going through, at that time we were planting the seeds for the charter school. So I was looking for some curriculum ideas and this kind of thing. So I saw that she was presenting. I said, I'm gonna go there and see that one. So then when she told me that she had a reading program that could alleviate the symptoms of reading disabilities, I'm going, get out of here. No way. In fact, I've used that term snake oil myself. You're selling some snake oil up here. She made a very compelling argument, very much so. So much so that I talked to her after the conference, after her presentation. I don't know if she remembers this, invited her out to dinner that night. And you had an assistant with you. We went out to dinner, talked some more, and I said, okay, we want to give this a try. And so we did 2 pilot rounds of this program. Had amazing results, just amazing results. There was one girl who participated in the pilot round. She was a senior in high school. And she was living on campus, and one of the staff members here was in the process of adopting her. And she said, Norman, she can't even read a thank you note. Can't read a thank you note. She had gone to Piedmont Tech and taken a test there, and she couldn't even test out for their .30 reading remediation class. 3/4 of the way through the 60-day pilot round, she went back to Piedmont Tech, took their entrance exam again, and tested out for a 100-level reading course. This thing's a miracle worker. I could tell you all kinds of stories about the impact of this program. What I want to do right now is that, of course, I've lived in Clinton a long time. I didn't grow up here, but I went to PC and then never left. So if you've lived in Clinton any time at all, you know who the Cornelsons are, and their commitment to this community, which is very inspiring. And it was one day, Angie Dillon, my assistant at the school, called me one day and she said, Miss Ann Cornelson stopped by to see you today. And I said, oh, really? What does she want? She said, she didn't say. She just wants you to give her a call. So I did. I gave her a call. And she came over to speak to me, and she had heard about our Child Development Center, and she wanted to do something for Thornwell. So I started telling her about the Read Write program. And she said, I want to know more about that. So just like I think what is typical of herself, she didn't just jump on it. She went home and did her homework. She looked it up. So then she comes back. She says, okay, tell me more. So we talked about this thing. And she says, that's what I want to do. Because we were planning, this was in 2016, because we were planning to bring the program in 2017, and we were going to train 4 teachers to do that. We needed some gifts to get us going. And so we had 2 major gifts for that, which gave us exactly the amount of money we needed to do the training and pay the teachers for that time. Well, the thing that Miss Ann kept on doing is she kept coming back. She wanted to see the results. She wanted to know the data. She wanted to see the teachers and what was going on. So she and George both came into the building a few times to check it out and see how it was going on. But I think that is an example of how careful she is, how deliberate she is, how intentional she is, and her family in making these decisions. But the thing about it is they've been very, very great supporters of our community. But I got a little story I want to share that shows also in the little things how much she is committed to this community. Now, I asked Carrie Gearhart if I could use her name because she's the one who told me this story. Her husband is a professor at PC, and she was telling me that not long after he got his job at PC, that they decided to live here in this community, and they were living in Mary Oaks. And she said after they moved into their house, she got a letter from Miss Ann Cornelson, thanking them to make the decision to live in this community. So from the little small thing, and who knows how many other small things have been done, the rest of us just don't even know about. So that I think that not only Thornwell, but the whole community owes this family a great, great debt of gratitude. You know, to drive home a little bit more about what this program can do is that I want to give you a snapshot. You heard what Myron had to say about the impact of this program. I'm going to give you a little bit of math. 3.9 to 4.84. 3.9 to 4.84. Now that's almost 1. That's almost 1. Okay, so this happened just this summer. Just this summer. Is that we use the STAR assessment, and we also use the measure of academic progress that we use in the charter school to measure the growth of our children, because we're interested in growth, You've already heard from Myron about foster children and how so far they are behind in school, and they are. Not only that, but they've experienced great trauma. And children who have experienced trauma experience education in a different way. They're always in survival mode. They're always in survival mode. And kids who've experienced trauma from the infancy all the way up to high school, when they get to high school, the usual reaction is, you got an attitude. You need to straighten up. Well, they can't. They've experienced trauma, and they're just trying to survive. Just trying to survive. So when these kids come in and we do the test on these kids, they are way behind in school. So if you've got a kid who's in 8th or 9th grade and they're reading on like a 2nd or 3rd grade level, you can't expect them to succeed like Myron said. Please don't call on me to read. Don't do that. I'm surviving. And if I come out in a rage of anger, I don't want to read. Don't want to read. That's how they experience school. Well, just over the summer, we had kids ranging from 3rd grade, well, there goes my notes, but I got it. Ranging from 3rd grade all the way to 12th grade in our summer program. Their average reading level at the beginning of the summer was 3rd grade, 9th month. The youngest one was 3rd grade. Most of them were in middle and high school. Average reading level was 3rd grade, 9th month. At the end of the summer, just of 8 weeks of tutoring, the average reading level was 4.89. A full school year gain in reading comprehension. For those who remain in the program for an entire year, maybe even 2 years, we catch them all the way up. All the way up. At that point, what we've done for the kids is not just teach them to read, because it's more than a reading program. It's an empowerment program. And that's our goal for all of our students, to empower them to take charge of their own lives, take charge of their own education, and to succeed because of the decisions they make, and to give them hope. The power of hope that they experience. I've been with kids who were just shedding tears. I remember one girl, she was in 11th grade. I can't read, just crying. She was reading on a 2nd grade level. 2nd grade level. Read Right empowers them and changes their lives. So it's more than a reading program. It's an empowerment program, and we're concerned more about how they think and their approach to their education, even than their levels of achievement. So it's a game changer. It's a game changer. It gives them a whole new outlook. It empowers them and a whole new trajectory. So this program works. And we have this saying at Thornwell, when something works, let's do more of it. Let's do more of it. And I told Dr. Tadlock this right from the beginning. I said, okay, I want you to understand that this is not going to be just limited to one location. We're going to want to do more with this. And so now we've had a dream for the Read Write Center. The Read Write Center. And so this dream now has come true as a result of this gift, and you're gonna see it. It's one of our former cottages that we've turned into the Read Write Center. So what's going on in there is that the children from the charter school, from the campus, also some from the community are coming in, and they'll come into the center during the school day, also after school for Read Write. But we're also reaching out to other places of Thornwell's ministry, not just right here in Clinton. And so these teachers can deliver Read Write virtually to other locations. And I think you're going to hear about that in just a few minutes of one particular child. If we can reach out virtually, reach more kids, and so that's our goal. Right now we're operating in Sherrall. We're teaching some kids down there virtually. We're looking at other communities, and who knows, we'll see where this program takes us. But that's our plan. Those are our goals. And so we thank you for this gift that has created the Read Write Center that is going to help us to take this amazing program and reach more and more children and to empower more and more children. You know, I want to do a couple of introductions because I think some dear friends of mine are going to help to drive this home a little bit more also. But Bob, thank you for coming. Bob's our mayor over here, Bob McLean. Thank you for being with us again. You were with us on our child abuse prevention event, and now you're here with us again, so we appreciate your support. But I want to introduce to you, let me do this first. Our teachers, Read Write teachers, just look around and wave your hand. Please raise, here they are right here next to me, over here. I should just say stand up. Stand up. I want you to see who they are, because here, I call them the miracle workers. Stand up, please. You'll see them again. They're the miracle workers. They're the ones who, Lindy Scott often says, our children don't always rise up and call you blessed. They just don't. Sometimes I don't want to do this anymore, and so they're the ones who bring them along and coach them. There's a lot more than just Read Write. There's a lot of it. Come on, you can do this now. So they do wonderful and marvelous work. But I also want to introduce to you David and Lita Tribble, and I've known them for many, many years. Two good PCNs, fellow PCNs, and they also were very committed to this community. In fact, when we were renovating the building for the charter school, the architect asked me, he says, "How do you want to design the science lab?" I said, laughed, and you want me to tell you how to design a science lab? So, but I said, I got somebody I know who can do that. So I called up Lita. Just a few days later, she had the whole thing designed, and she changed a lot of what the architect had done. And now we've got a beautiful science lab over in our new charter school, and thank you for that. But David, I want to introduce you and for you to come on up, because I think you're going to share more of a personal experience with Read Write. So David and Lita Tribble. Thank you.
So you should not trust a man who stands up to talk with no notes, because they don't know when to quit. So good morning. So Lita and I are proud to be here to talk to you about Thornwell today, about the Read Write program and about our experience. We don't really have time to talk about all of the points of contact between Lita and my family and Thornwell, but just say that it began with Lita's teaching of chemistry and physics at Thornwell and being on the faculty over there. It's also true that we can hear the school bell from our house, and so we feel like we're really on the south campus of Thornwell and have been there for quite a while. Thornwell is not just pretty grounds and buildings, it's caring people who are serving God by serving His children. And today's story can't be told without acknowledging that Norman Dover has been an extra parent to our daughter Perrin. She was the principal, Norman was, the principal of the elementary school when Perrin was there, and then he was the athletic director when she was in the high school over here. Norman is a gifted educator, and he's been a gift to every single student who has stepped on this campus for decades, okay? We don't have time to mention the other Thornwell All-Stars like Bill Alexander or Gail Hocker or Vicki Culberson, Lindy Scott, and others. After Thornwell's high school closed, their faculty became the outstanding teachers at practically every school in the whole county. I saw Betsy Washam here earlier, I'm reminded of her having received that honor as well. So our story begins with our granddaughter, Quinn Williams. Quinn lives in Beaufort. She was our first grandchild. She was beautiful. She was knockout gorgeous. She showed early promise. She had quick learning on things like her little computer skills, and she learned card games. She was very perceptive about people. I used to say she would have to register as an agent for the color purple and maybe even pink, because she was just fascinated with color and everything needed to be pink. She was drawing out designs, for her backyard, putting all the pieces in place for a low country backyard and all into her design. She even beat me at Old Maid, when we were playing. Okay, so she started a business, and she was a haircutting business. She called it Haircutting Girls. And so she was very perceptive and very bright, and all I could see out of her was my granddaughter who could do no wrong. But Lita, as a professional educator herself, had other thoughts and observations about what was going on there, and I'm going to let her pick up the story from here.
Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, David. When Norman was planning for the new school, as he recently mentioned, he called and asked if I had the time and interest to offer suggestions on how to lay out and format and equip what would become the new science lab. I was very happy to do so and appreciated Norman's call very much. When construction was over and the school had been open for some period of time, Norman graciously invited David and me to see the finished product, to tour the new school and the facility. We learned about the various programs that were being offered to the students. We came to appreciate very much the dedication of his staff, the learning approaches and techniques that were being utilized to facilitate student success. That tour was serendipitous in the sense that that was our first awareness of the Read Write program. Granddaughter Quinn, at that time of the tour, was in 4th grade, and I had been deeply concerned about her weaknesses in reading and reading comprehension, going back to the 1st and 2nd grade. So here she was in 4th grade, having made very little progress during the years. She was very much aware of the fact that she was significantly behind her classmates. She hated reading. It was a chore for her parents to read with her as part of her reading assignment to strengthen her skills. Her awareness of her situation was evident and reflected in her artwork. David referred to her interest in drawing. I remember her mom sharing a picture with me. She had drawn this little girl sitting on her bed and surrounded by books. And this little girl was crying in this picture. Well, as a grandmother, that was the final straw. And having just learned about Read Write, I said, we have to do something different. We have to try something new. All of the interventions, all of the accommodations that the school was making, all of the individual one-on-one sessions with reading instructors was not yielding success or progress, and we had to start something new. Within 6 months of that initial start to the program, working with our beloved Miss Peggy, the success and the level of achievement that she acquired is beyond remarkable. And that was just in 6 months. So today she's in the 7th grade. At the end of her 6th grade year, when all the testing is done, she was reading right at grade level. Her grades were excellent. She made honor roll for the first time. Her appreciation, her confidence, you could see, had changed so greatly. And we attribute this success to the Read Write program and her involvement in this program under the tutelage of Miss Peggy and Mr. Norman. So we thank you both. And we thank Anne and George for your contribution and support to this program and enabling so many more students to be helped by this service. Thank you.
All right, these sniffles are cold. Thank you for that, David and Lita. Appreciate that much. So now we have the honor to invite Miss Cornelson to the front for the dedication and plaque unveiling. So come on up.
All right. Okay.
You good? I'm gonna hold your hand. And we'd like to thank you for being here today and your friendship in the ministry of Thornwell. This plaque is to show our gratitude to you and your family and to commemorate the life and legacy of your wonderful husband, George. The plaque will be viewed by all who enter what will now be known as the Read Write Center.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah, again, thanks again, Miss Ann, because these plaques will forever symbolize your family's commitment to the success of our students and their bright futures and their empowered bright futures. So when we're ready, Miss Ann, would you help us remove the veil?
We're just going to pull it up. There you go. Ready?
All right. I don't have anything to say, but you can see why he gets support for the Read Write and everything else he tries to do for Thornwell. Wait a minute, there's Norman. Because really, his enthusiasm from, I think, 2016 was when I first heard about it. He's a grand salesperson for your program. So thank you so much.
You stay up here with us.
Oh, thank you.
We would now like to take a moment to invite several special guests to join us. Myron and Anna, Lindy Scott, Dr. Tadlock, if you'll please come up. Our amazing Read Write tutors, Peggy Nybert, our director of Read Write, and the Cornelson family. And we will gather around the plaque, along with the Tribble family, please.
Oh, okay.
We're here with you. Scoot in.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you see everybody? You need to put them around. The back line needs to get. Come on, back down.
Addie, are we good with people seeing? Yeah. We good? Thank you, everyone. If you can head back to your seats, we will now receive closing remarks from Myron.
What a wonderful morning. Ann was just saying it felt like a family reunion. Now we needed some barbecue and fried chicken, and we can call it a day. But what a great event. Again, thank you, Ann and the Cornelson family, for your support. And after we get done, there'll be some refreshments, and we can mingle and enjoy some time this morning. But I also wanted to acknowledge that if you have your program, on the back of the program is a list of certainly the Cornelson family and many others who also had a part in helping to and continue to have a part in supporting this great program. So I just want to ask, if you're here this morning, other than the Cornelson family, but you've had a stake in investing in this work, we want you to stand so we can also acknowledge you. So if you're here this morning and you have invested, we want you to stand so we can celebrate you as well. You know, again, one of the greatest gifts of Thornwell is the folks like Norman and the staff who are here. And we ask that as we close out in a word of prayer that you'll remember us, not simply in your giving, but pray for us as we commit to ourselves to helping to transform the lives of children and families in need. I often tell our folks here that the work that we do is like the military in some regards. It's the toughest job you'll ever love. But we could not do it without the support of this community. So thank you. Thank you, Cornelson family. Thank all of you. And we will continue to keep you informed of the great impact of this great ministry led by this Peggy and this great team and Norman. So thank you all. And with that, if you would join me just in a word of benediction. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity we've had today to celebrate this great program that was the brainchild of Dr. Tadlock and now has been applied here in Clinton and other places. We thank you for the Cornelson family and the many others who have caught hold of the vision. We thank you for the staff and even for those in our team that helped to coordinate and make this event happen. Thank you for them and the hard work and the organization with that. But above all, Lord, we thank you for the privilege we have to be used by you, to be the hands and feet of Christ, to make a difference in the lives of children and family in Clinton and Lawrence County and beyond. We ask that you will continue to bless us as we go, but bless us not only that we might be blessed, but in the overflow of that blessing, we may all continue to be a blessing and a servant to others and the example of Christ and the legacy that we see in George Cornelson. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.